Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Samina Pasha to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Samina Pasha's words. Today, once again, all Pakistanis are sad. The reason is the same: Pakistan lost the match to India once again. There were high expectations for today's match, as many hoped there might be some improvement, and some believed that Pakistan's team might surprise everyone. However, contrary to these expectations, Pakistan's team lost once again. The match had its ups and downs, but overall, I believe India had the upper hand, especially with their batting. From the very first 10 overs, it was clear which way the match was heading. Anyway, we'll talk a little about this, but there are many more important updates. Let's first talk about today's case regarding Imran Khan. The Toshakana case trial, which was supposed to take place earlier, was postponed, and now it has been scheduled for Monday. According to court reporters, Imran Khan's lawyers believe that the case could last a maximum of 2 or 3 sessions and the verdict might be announced on the same day. So, in a couple of days, we should know the outcome of this case. On the other hand, Salman Safdar has been doing everything he can to halt the trial or to get it dismissed. His argument is that the case shouldn't proceed because if someone is already convicted on similar charges, a second case cannot be filed on the same grounds. This was challenged a year ago in the Islamabad High Court, but the petition was never heard. In fact, the trial in Adiala jail has been continuing and is now close to a conclusion. However, the petition for dismissal of the case was never heard, and the reason for that was the presence of the favoured Chief Justice, Sarfraz Dogar, who effectively halted all of Imran Khan's cases. The impact of this has been that the trial continued, but last week, Salman Safdar made a last-ditch effort to get this petition heard. He even expressed his frustration, stating that if the case wasn't heard on Monday, the petition would essentially be rejected, as the trial would be concluded. He was upset and mentioned that if the case wasn't fixed, he might not even appear again. But despite his efforts, Judge Amin Mihaj didn't set the date for the hearing, even though Alima Khan sat in the courtroom for hours in protest. As for the Toshakana case, the verdict might be delivered in the coming days. It's likely that Imran Khan will deliver an important message during this trial, especially with the gathering scheduled for September 27th. He may speak on several crucial matters, including recent events such as the Azan activities, various protests, and even the agreement between Saudi Arabia and the United Kingdom. Let's wait and see what response Imran Khan gives to all of this. Everyone is waiting for today's session. On the political front, a gathering was held in Azad, Kashmir today, organised with the support of the government and establishment. Let me give you some background on this. There have been protests from the people of Azad Kashmir, particularly from their public committees, demanding their rights. These protests have not been under the banner of any political party, but rather they have been general uprisings for the people's demands. In the past, Azad Kashmiris have organised major protests and succeeded in getting their demands met. Once again, they are on the streets for their rights, but these protests are being downplayed in the media. Reports also say that internet services are often shut down to suppress the coverage of these protests, creating a controlled atmosphere. In response, the government attempted to organise a gathering to show that the people are with them and that there's no problem in Azad Kashmir. However, this gathering turned out to be a failure. The seats were empty, even though almost all the political parties were present, along with government and state resources. Despite this, the venue remained empty. The people rejected the gathering, and the government officials left with their faces down as they received no acceptance from the people. This is essentially a reflection of the situation in which the public doesn't trust the system. When you sideline the people's elected government, as was done in Pakistan, the situation becomes unstable. In such situations, even when you create governments by force, they fail to achieve stability, progress, or provide peace to the people. The ruling authorities themselves live in constant uncertainty, fearing that their position might be taken away at any time. This is exactly the kind of situation we're seeing in Azad Kashmir today. However, on the other hand, we're also seeing that the resistance movements are gaining strength. Alima Khan, who was once just a homemaker with no political affiliation, has now become a significant figure. She still doesn't have a direct political role, but she is bringing forward Imran Khan's message. Despite immense pressure, she has stood firm like Imran Khan, facing legal battles and fighting for justice. Her persistence has turned her into an influential figure, and people are now respecting her for her efforts. As an example, during a recent telethon to support the flood victims, an overseas Pakistani made a donation specifically for Imran Khan's campaign. This really shows the growing value and support for her, as she continues to fight for what she believes in. They officially gave this message that they want to buy the chadar of Imran Khan, the one on which an egg was thrown some days ago. They said they want to buy that chadar or that dupatta, they want to take it. And basically, the meaning of buying it is that they want to donate in exchange for it. They also mentioned the price, saying they would donate 5 lakhs rupees for it. Now, whether they donate 50 lakhs to Shaukat Khanum or whether they donate it for Imran Riaz Saleh's rehabilitation, that's your own choice. But they want to give so much value to that chadar that they believe it has become a symbol of defiance, that an egg was thrown at you to humiliate you, to make you a victim of panic, to send a message that we can hit you in public any time. But instead of panicking over this, the way she tackled the whole environment and situation with bravery and courage, she valued it so much that they believe they want to give 5 lakhs for that chadar. So look, those who oppose get respected. You wanted to humiliate them, but in return they are receiving so much respect that even their opponents are forced to praise them, and those who appreciate them have deep feelings for them. These are the things for the wise, that although the path of defiance and truth is difficult, look at how Allah rewards you with respect, how He grants you honor, how He doesn't let you fall short. There are difficulties, but there is no shortage, and Allah Himself provides the means for you. So the path of difficulties may seem to bring trouble for you temporarily, but when you look at it, you find relief in the end. There is relief even in these difficulties. Believe me, after betraying your conscience, or after deceit, or after using oppression and cruelty to maintain your power, you don't find peace. There is no relief in that power. In fact, I believe that the person sitting in a small cell in Adiala right now is in more peace because their conscience is clear. They are a prisoner of their conscience, which is why they are happy and content, even in good health, mashallah. And these people who are outside, look at their condition. They don't even get a peaceful sleep. Every day they have to make new conspiracies on how to keep their power intact. So it's a big blessing from Allah if your conscience is clear and you can sleep peacefully. If you think about it, this is a blessing from Allah. Anyway, the conversation has drifted somewhere else. Today, I got some good news that even the non-Muslim countries have today officially recognized Palestine as a free Islamic state. Britain, Australia and Canada have officially given this recognition, stating that they recognize Palestine as a separate free state. This was being hinted at earlier in September, and many countries were signaling before or at the time of the United Nations session in America that they would recognize Palestine as a state. The basic essence behind this is that symbolically it will show that Palestine, which is a land that has been nearly destroyed, whose infrastructure has been devastated, where genocide is ongoing and still continues, and where there is now a shadow of hunger and extreme suffering, is being recognized. This is a message of hope. Your land is yours. For someone to say this at this moment is a source of encouragement for you. Symbolically, this is a significant matter. However, if you ask whether it will bring any immediate change to the situation, it doesn't seem like it, because for that, you will have to take practical steps. This is a reminder of the tragic situation. Now, I was telling you about the time when the Gaza ceasefire resolution came to the Security Council. All the countries supported it, but there was only one country that didn't support it and vetoed it, and that was America. Due to America's veto, the ceasefire couldn't happen. And as you can see, genocide in Gaza is still ongoing. Now, at this point, it is painful to note that when we say that our government nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, is it right for someone who didn't allow a ceasefire in Gaza, who doesn't want peace in Gaza, to receive the Nobel Peace Prize? If he is such a lover of peace, why doesn't he see the bloodshed in Gaza? Why doesn't he want a ceasefire there? So how can your government nominate such a person for such a prestigious award, given his character? This is a very painful situation. But anyway, these countries have supported him. So now it seems like some other countries will also be motivated to support Palestine in the same pattern. This is something the Arab countries should learn from, especially those who were earlier trying to develop relations with Israel. Now, after the attack on Qatar, they should realize that these cannot be your friends, and they should focus their friendships elsewhere, where it is more appropriate, and support them. If the Arab countries, along with all the Muslim countries, had supported Palestine at this point, maybe the situation wouldn't have escalated so much. Pakistan should have been much more active in supporting Palestine. But despite Pakistan condemning the situation, no Muslim country has taken any significant practical steps in this matter. Finally, let me talk a bit about the match where India defeated us. While I was talking earlier, our team was in a better position during the war, but in T20 matches, India has the upper hand. They have been consistently defeating us, and even though Pakistan's batting improved a bit today, in the end, they collapsed and didn't score enough runs. When India started their batting, they made quick runs, and though they struggled a bit later, they still comfortably won by 6 wickets. By the way, I was disturbed by the number 6. I was thinking you could have won by 7 wickets or 5 wickets, but you had to lose by 6. That 6 is a bit of a problem for them. But what can we say about it? Anyway, regarding this match, there were a lot of mistakes, so many misfieldings, and the umpiring was substandard. In fact, today everyone was recalling the umpiring standards of Sikandar Sultan Raja, who used to handle such situations better. The umpiring standards were really poor. There were many mistakes. We saw catches being dropped, captaincy was very bad, and there were unnecessary shots and bowling situations. All of this led to our defeat. But what happened here? It brings us to the point about Mohsin Naqvi. When you appoint someone who is a part-time chairman and has no understanding of the game, and at a time when everyone is saying that most people are there because of recommendations, what do you expect from the team? The team performs the way it does. Right now, the Pakistani team has reached a point where they are not even an average team. They barely win against average teams, and sometimes they even lose to them. Our cricket team is making all the worst records right now. Anyway, what's the point in complaining about cricket? As you all know, records are being broken everywhere in all aspects. That's what we keep hearing about every day. That wraps up our translation of Samina Pasha's video. I hope this English version helped you understand her message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.